What are you playing?
A Hat in Time.
Ha! And you mocked me for playing The Sims. That game looks like it's for 5-year-olds. I'm going to set you on fire! No. You know what? I'm going to show you why this game is so good and prove you wrong. Fine. So what makes the game so good? Let's find out. Developed by Gears for Breakfast, A Hat in Time is an indie platformer, and in my opinion, one of the best platformers to date. You start off as Hat Kid, an alien traveling home in her oddly shaped spaceship. It's fueled by timepieces, the main collectible of the game. So you're peacefully flying when a mafia member shows up to collect tax for your flying boat. You ignore him like the cool dude that you are, and he breaks your window, not only throwing you into space, but causing all of your timepieces to fall to the planet below. With an annoyed look, you crash into Mafia Town. Apparently you can fall from space and be fine, but falling a few feet, that hurts you.
I guess the tower broke your fall.
Anyway, after smacking a few enemies and meeting up with this guy...
Hi there, young one.
He sells you useful and not so useful badges. You'll want to collect these things, since badges become extremely useful in the later parts of the game. You meet Mustache Girl and team up with her to get your timepieces back from Mafia Town. While exploring the first level, you'll notice a few collectibles. Pawns, or pawns, which are the game's main currency, are easy to find and respawn every time you start a level. And yarn, which you can use to craft hats, are more rare, and don't respawn. You'll find these and more throughout every level. Unlike many other collectathons, every collectible you find in this game has a purpose. Especially yarn, since hats give you access to special abilities. For instance, the sprint hat lets you run faster, while the brewing hat allows you to throw projectiles. They're easy to switch out, so they're almost always convenient to use. So this is where the game starts to get more interesting, but with that comes this. After collecting your first timepiece, you somehow magic back onto your ship, letting you go through more levels. Wait, weren't you just in Mafia Town? I was, but now there's even more stuff to do. You'd think playing through the same world 6 or 7 times would get boring, but since each level objective is so different, it felt fun every time. One level even has you turning off giant faucets that are pouring lava... Wait a minute. That explains why I love this game so much. But now's not the time for nostalgia. We've got a boss to kill. And yes, I mean kill. You beat him so badly, his sentient remains end up in a jar. Yeah, this game can get creepy at times. Once the Mafia boss is gone, Mustache Girl wants a timepiece. Since you need it to get home, you keep it. This makes her hate you, steal half of your pawns, and steal your timepieces. With Mafia Town explored and a new nemesis created, you can move on to the other areas by restoring power to them. Okay, so this game might have taken a little bit of inspiration from Mario. Each area or chapter is extremely different from the others, so I'll cover each one separately. There is some sort of order to these, as some areas require more timepieces to access than others. Let's move on to one of my favorite chapters, Battle of the Birds. I sure do love this chapter, but I just can't figure out why. This chapter has you meeting two movie producers that just so happen to be birds. And hate each other. My favorite character, the conductor, and
DJ Grooves.
make this act more than worthwhile. They work off each other so well. Grooves is a chill penguin that loves to make loud and bold movies, and the conductor is a bird that loves to make Western films, swears constantly, and is a total alcoholic. You think I'm joking, don't you? He also holds a striking resemblance to a certain anime character that likes to wear a similar looking outfit. And that accent.
That does it! Get out of here with ya! I've got a movie to record!
Hold up. Fan theory time. What if the conductor is actually part fire spirit? That would explain why he looks so weird and why he's so hot-headed. Did you make that theory up just to say that pun? No.
So these two are using your timepieces as movie props. So the only logical way to get them back is to be a part of their movies.
Oh, hey, little chirper. They're recording right now, so no one's allowed in. We're only insured for bird staff. Letting you in would be a liability. Don't even think about sneaking inside.
Oh my, what is that I see? Is it true inner beauty? An innocent soul with a heart of gold? Oh no, it's just a little girl. Hello. Perfect. Let's slide this picture into your passport and here you go. One passport for you.
After deciding who should win the annual Bird Movie Award, you receive a timepiece. But wait! Weren't there 2 timepieces in this chapter? That's right, there's more. After the ceremony, you get a phone call from the loser informing you that the winner kept a timepiece. To get it back, you must fight them for it. It gets so intense that a bomb gets strapped to you. After that fiasco, you smack him to death and take back your timepiece. Let's continue into Subcon Forest. This chapter has you being forced into doing busy work for the Snatcher, one of the main supernatural spookies of the forest. To ensure you do his task, he literally takes your soul and pins his contract on your inventory screen. You have to kill fire spirits, run from the crazed Queen Vanessa, and do the most terrifying thing in the entire game! Deliver their mail. Yes, really. An entire level is dedicated to this. You also fight a toilet. I love the atmosphere of this area. It really captures that creepy yet cute vibe. Also this.
These dwellers are so hard to talk to.
Maybe you could break the ice with them for us.
This place isn't all bad though, since you get a hook shot from a chest in a cave. At this point, I'm not even surprised. Sadly for you, the Snatcher lied, and reveals that he was obviously just using you, and was never going to give you your soul back. Instead, you must fight him in a boss battle. This battle can prove to be a little challenging at first, but it's pretty easy once you learn his attack patterns. This battle also features one of my favorite music tracks from this game, but I'll get into that later. After snatching your soul back, you become best friends with the Snatcher via contract, and make your way to Alpine Skyline. Alpine Skyline? I will look it up. In this chapter, you're free to traverse the land and collect the timepieces in any order you want. This is the only area that allows you to do this, as the other 3 main chapters, excluding the final boss and DLC, are separated into single acts. This free roam format makes this chapter one of my favorites. It's really cool to be like, oh look, a birdhouse, and be able to reach it without 20 minutes of loading in between. It heavily reminds me of Skyward Sword, the main island being very reminiscent of Skyloft in my eyes, especially with those beams of light. Even the music is somewhat similar. To get this chapter's timepieces, you have to go through a birdhouse, lava, a windmill, another dimension. Wait, what? Huh. Neat. As you collect timepieces, you unknowingly spread an illness throughout the land. This illness leads to this chapter's finale, where you kill the flowers that are causing the illness. After restoring the islands, it's time for the finale. Seems while you were out exploring, Mustache Girl got her revenge by stealing your timepieces and transforming the planet into this lava fortress.
Hey, Nintendo called. They want their idea back.
Get ready for a lot of burning and a lot of death! Getting through this place is not easy, but if you know how to use your hand abilities, it won't be too bad. Of course, there's more to this level than just the fortress. If you thought that was hard, you'll need to do some breathing exercises before this part, because it's final boss time! Good luck with this fight, you're gonna need it. This is the best and most challenging boss in the game by far. Mustache Girl's movements are fast, and her attacks are even faster. You'll need to focus if you don't want to die here. But wait! There's more! This boss has multiple phases. The battle really gets going when everyone watching the fight decides to sacrifice themselves to make you super overpowered. Armed with your umbrella and the power of love, you defeat Mustache Girl and revert the planet to its former glory. With the planet saved, you take your timepieces back, literally brush away your friends. I'm not crying, you're crying! And take off for your home world. The credits roll as you see everyone from your adventure.
Come here, Paul. Okay. You guys are such babies. I'm kidding. Come here.
It's plain to see how much love went into this world. Every part of every level feels handcrafted. I never got a copy and paste vibe from this game, and that's what I love about indie platformers and indie games in general. They even put seats in the game that give you a more cinematic view of the level you're in. Little details like that can add a lot to the game. The characters are all so fun and interesting. I love them all. Even the enemies and side characters have a ton of personality. Like this poor dude who's just trying to be cooler than his coworker Steve.
Steve from work went to the moon last spring. He said it was great. Darn Steve. He always has to one-up me. I'll show him with a postcard from the moon. The moon is pretty all right, kid. It feels great finally being here after all these years. But that darn Steve from work sent me a postcard from the sun. He says it's great. I can't believe that guy, always trying to one-up me.
It's okay, pal. I think you're cool.
That's not saying much.
What was that?
My only complaint is that we don't see more of them. This is truly a great game overall.
You went to the Moon War! He went to the moon to impress Steve! Would you go to the moon to impress Steve? Let's just go back to hugging. That was less awkward.
The game's only made better with mod support and time rifts. Time rifts are singular levels that give you random rewards after completing them. These are unlocked by completing levels and collecting relics. Blue time rifts have you doing a bit of platforming, while purple time rifts have you collecting rift pones. Also in these purple time rifts are storybook pages, collectibles that unlock a bit of background history for a few characters. I found it cool to learn background info like how Subcon Forest became so depressing, and how the rivalry in Deadbird Studio started without having to look online. Once you complete a time rift, you get to spin the roulette wheel, which can give you song remixes to use, costumes, and dyes. With the power of the Steam Workshop and other modding services, you can add in custom hats, badges, and levels. This adds so much replayability. Some user-made levels even have voice acting.
Hey there, lass. Long time no see. That picnic, DJ Grooves asked me to come and see his new restaurant.
I mean, it's not good voice acting, but hey, for a level based around McDonald's, it's better than I expected. It's also amazing seeing all the cool powers people have put into the game. Except this. I don't know how to feel about this. And that's about it for the main story. Oh, come on, you know I'm not done yet. With the main story finished, let's DLC what's next.
We were having a moment and you ruined it! Half. Calm down, please. Fine.
Before I get into the paid DLC, I should mention that they did release co-op a while back, but since no one, including my clones, wanted to play the game with me, I can't say much about it. Seems pretty solid though, so if you have someone to play it with, go for it. I'm going to talk about the first two, since any other DLC for this game wasn't released yet. Obviously, if you don't want these spoiled for you, maybe skip this part. Here, I'll even put in a time code so you know where to skip to. You go on a boat, do chores, crash the boat, and save everyone from the sinking boat. The conductor has grandchildren. Puns. Egg. That is all. This DLC also includes Death Wish, a hardcore set of levels that give you some neat items. There's even amped up versions of bosses from the main game. These fights including some of the most intense battle music you've ever heard. In Nakusa Plaza, you collect timepieces for the Empress, a local crime boss. As you explore the metro, you'll see things such as trains, stickers, food, new badges, new cosmetics, new costumes, and a ton of cats. It's like my own personal paradise. Fed up with this cat mafia taking all your timepieces, you break into their stash and steal them back. Unfortunately, you're instantly caught by the Empress and chased down by her gang. This leads to her chasing you around with a rocket launcher as you attempt to leave the metro. If you manage to escape, you'll leave the metro with all of your timepieces and a ton of money. I really enjoyed Nakusa. It gives you a decent amount of challenge without making it impossible, similar to the main chapters. The NPCs keep that weird charm that I love, even if you do hear them say the same voice lines a lot. Well, that's all the DLC I owned. While I enjoyed Nakusa Plaza more than Arctic Cruise, I personally suggest getting them both for the full A Hat in Time experience. If you liked the base game, you'll want the DLC. And that is A Hat in Time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I love this game. I really do. It's hands down one of the best platformers I've ever played. It quickly became one of my favorite games, and while I might not play it all the time, with the game's fun characters and worlds, I'll definitely remember it for years to come. With all pecs accounted for, I'm giving A Hat in Time a 10 out of 10. With Peck becoming my most popular video, I guess you could say I timed this review pretty well.
You know what, Half? Let's end one of these on a good note for once.